Sold viewers, Big Ronnie here with another Sold Stay-at-Home Series episode. Today is Saturday, May 9th, 2020. We are in the fifth of episodes and lockdown recordings and interviews with some of your favorite artists out there, and there's a piece of one of them. As we go through these, we need your support. We ask please take a look at our Patreon page, patreon.com/Sold Magazine. And the artists that we cover need your support. So we ask you to please take a look at their artist shops, web pages, online shops, buy a commission, consider purchasing whatever you can to help these artists get through this time that we're all going through. So today's guest, up on the screen, Mr. Atomiko. How are you today?
Good. How about yourself?
You are our first mobile guest, so that's a first. So where are you coming to us from?
I'm live from Miami, Florida. I'm actually in the West Miami neighborhood of Miami, Florida right now, but yeah, I'm in the 305, the rock bottom.
Now, I last saw you when you were working at a piece at Welling Court in 2016. Erica put up a picture of it today. It was Bushwick Collective, not Welling Court. And we were talking about your oranges at the time. I'd love to give our listeners, our viewers now, just a little history of that and why you started drawing it, how it came about, if that's cool.
Yeah, for sure. I started with the orange in 2008. So it's going to be 12 years now that I've been rocking the orange. And it was a response from the demolition of the Miami Orange Bowl. It was a football stadium in Little Havana, a neighborhood just west of downtown Miami. And there's a lot of history there. It stood for over 70 years. And, the Dolphins used to play professional football there and Super Bowls. And then the Hurricanes played college football there and national championships. And there was all sorts of stuff that was happening over there. But I grew up going there, and I wasn't too happy that they demolished it. So I painted a homage, a little RIP memorial for the stadium when they finished their demolition. And that was it. I got a good response from it, or I don't know. I guess I just like painting the character. I started using the design. I studied graphic design, so I started playing with the mascot of the Orange Bowl, which is Obi. And yeah, I got a good response from it, better than what I was getting from my graffiti and my name and my letter based stuff. And that's what, kept me going with it.
But that wasn't the end of the Obi and orange drama / evolution, was it?
No, Obi still runs around at like parties and events and things of that nature, because the Orange Bowl committee is still functioning, but the stadium doesn't stand anymore.
Now, you basically made that your image. I mean, Florida, Sunshine State and all, but it was always known for oranges. To put that image on the street over and over and over. I'm sure in the beginning it might have been a little weird, but I think you must be synonymous with it now.
Yeah, for sure. It never felt weird, to be honest. There was a transition period of maybe like 3 years, 1 to 3 years of me going from writing my name and painting my name and my crews to doing the orange face. But yeah, it was an organic thing, a natural transition. It didn't feel like forced or odd at any point.
Now, I read the story about why you chose your first tag, Atom, and how it got to Atomic and Atomiko. But when did you first catch your first tag?
I think my first tag was definitely in elementary school. I would say 1993, 1994. I didn't get good or like get started with the spray can until 96. So there was some years leading up to that of just tagging around my neighborhood and my school. And with marker and, whatever spray paint I found. So I would say that I started around 93, 94, and then I, went forward with the like full, effort in 96.
Now, as someone who's being out there and working in the public space, whether legal, illegal, trains, whatever, how are you handling the lockdown now? You see you got two kids asleep in the back of the car. Obviously, you're still doing what you got to do as a dad, but what is it like now?
Miami's pretty chill. I don't see like people getting stopped on the street for being outside. Um, I don't know. I when I go and paint, most of the time I paint alone. I will paint with like, you know, other friends, maybe one or two max. But as far as like working and gigs and stuff, that's all halted. I still have people going to my website and buying work and merch and stickers or whatever. But it's definitely a change. There's no one out, so painting is really chill in Miami. It's not like other cities where there's like everyone on top of each other and you can't walk down the street without running into someone or an official authority figure. It's pretty chill out here, to be honest. So I'm having a good time with the lack of people and movement in the streets.
And how are you using your extra time? Because assuming that you're working, assuming you're saving a little time on commute, assuming we're saving a little time not going out and ordering dinner and blah, 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 blah. We're hearing artists, taking advantage of their time, working on new skills or trying to crank through old projects. How is it for you?
I'd say that I'm spending more time with my family, more time with my children, my wife and kids, and spending most of the time at home. I'm always creating, so that's never really an issue. The lockdown or the quarantine or whatever isn't going to stop me from doing what I usually do. I haven't halted any of that, but yeah, just chilling. Everything is good.
Were you a
See
home
my friend here from the tattoo shop. But what was the question now?
were you a homebody and like to work all day in the house before the lockdown?
Yeah, well, these days I would say yes. It's not necessarily that I'm a homebody, but I'm not out going and socializing and you know doing any of that. I live in my like art bubble. So if I'm not at the studio or I'm not painting or doing a gig or something, then I'm usually at the house. But yeah, it's not a big difference for me, being that I work for myself and that I'm on my own schedule. It's not really that different for me.
Now you said that you're still finding some people going to your shop, your online store and stuff like that. That's great. How is it attracting new customers during this time? Because we're really looking down the barrel of at least another month or 2 months or whatever it is
Yeah.
uh, in lockdown. How are we going to attracting new Atomiko fans?
Well, I have a very heavy social media schedule or presence. So I would think that more people are just on their phones or tablets, and they're going to come across my page just, digging through Instagram. So um, aside from that, I think these podcasts and these live interviews and things of that nature are fun and will attract more people. But yeah.
Now,
Homeboys here.
do you think that times like this are going to change your work? Going to put, you know, maybe potentially have a different message, or is it, kind of just nose to the grindstone, more of the same?
I didn't hear that last question. For some reason, let me try to put the volume up. Oh, and then the screen like blacks out when I do that. Okay, what was the last question? Sorry about that.
Is this the time to stay with the same message you've always been putting out there, or are the times influencing your work at all?
No, I never really put a message behind my work. Being a graffiti writer and a letter based and a name based artist, I would always just paint my name and my crews, which really don't have an underlying meaning. I mean, there's not really a message behind my work, so I don't think that I'm portraying a certain message in regards to the situation. A lot of people have hit me up like, oh, put a mask on the orange or make a mask with your character, and I'm not for it. I've never been one to jump on the bandwagon and do something because there's a world crisis or pandemic or whatever. Nothing really has changed in my my message. It's just the smiling orange, spreading happiness and joy, whatever.
So I definitely appreciate you not wanting to rip from the headlines and just try to give to the masses through your intellectual property, so to speak. But what about for a commission? You wouldn't do that one off for a client?
Yeah, I mean, if the money's right, if someone I mean, okay, a commission, yeah, if someone wanted me to paint, a mask on my character, I would do it. I'm open to stepping out of my comfort zone and doing things that I don't usually do with my character. So putting a mask on it would be kind of cool, but someone would have to request it from me and put a deposit for me to do it. I mean, I'm not against it. I'm not opposed to it, but it's not something that I want to do.
What do you think? What do you think Wynwood's going to look like in December with the lack of people on the streets beforehand?
I don't know, dude. It's hard to predict the future. Wynwood in December it's a shit show. There's so many people. I mean, Wynwood every day, 365 days a year is just it's madness. It's become this like tourist attraction, and it's crazy. So I couldn't see it being any different in December. I would think that if the lockdown is lifted worldwide, everyone's going to want to get out of their house and travel to sunny Miami for December for the street art Super Bowl or whatever you want to call it, New Year's Eve celebration. I would think that if the lockdown is lifted and the virus is like gone or controlled or whatever, it's not as it is now, then I would think it's going to be the same. To be honest, I mean, I don't see a difference in that happening. I don't see the virus affecting Basel. But if it's around, then it just got lifted, then it's going to be dead. I would think that all the events, including like the main event of Art Basel in the Miami Beach Convention Center, I would think that that will be shut down. Every satellite fair will be shut down. I'm sure there will be underground stuff and people still painting in the streets, but I can't really predict the future in that regard. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in these next 3 to 6 months.
What do you hope comes out of this besides some good artwork from some of your colleagues? But what do you hope for the scene?
Well, on a worldwide level, I hope for health and happiness and peace. I don't want to see anyone like going to war, fighting, and dying or whatever. And then the health aspect of it, I would hope that the virus is under control and people aren't dropping like flies. I really hope for that. As far as the scene goes, I don't know. I think it's powerful. The mural scene and the graffiti scene. It's powerful. It's a huge movement and it's snowballing and everyone's jumping on it. So I couldn't see like anything different. I would think that it's just going to keep going in the momentum and in the direction that it's been going. I think it's just going to continue to grow and flourish.
Now, what is it? What do you think it's going to be like in a couple of years when your kids are starting to you know, pick their creative passions and things like that, and the things that are driving them? Do you think there's still going to be a scene like that? Do you think it's still going to be as public as it is? Do you think it's still going to be as accessible? You know, not all real estate is like it is down in Miami. It's not all spread out like that.
Right. Again, I can't say if the scene will be as powerful as it is. I mean, art has always been around and it's not going anywhere. So, I know that people are going to be creating regardless of if it's popular or not. There was in my city with the arts district and that whole explosion, it got really popular. But just like other trends, I think it'll die down and slow up. But I think that the scene will keep going. I think that people will just keep painting and keep creating art, whether it's for personal or for public. And as far as my kids, I don't know if they'll be into it. They may or may not choose to be creative and follow what I've done, but I'm sure they'll have an appreciation for it. That's for sure. They'll have an appreciation for the arts and for what people create. Our house is filled with paintings and prints and signs and posters and you name it, sculptures and whatnot. And we are always listening to music, and it's a very, very fun atmosphere in my household. So they'll be influenced by that, definitely.
Now, I'm sure. Well, let me not say I'm sure. I imagine that it would be easy to communicate this situation to your kids because it's really just fact based. There's not a lot of understanding. You don't go outside, don't be irresponsible because you're going to get sick. But how are they taking it? And have you picked a first quarantine break spot that they want to go to after?
No, well, the zoo, they love going to the zoo. They love going to the dog park. They love going to parks. So, once the lockdown is lifted, then we'll definitely be hitting the zoo and the parks. But I don't think they understand what's going on. My son is about to be 3 in July, and my daughter just turned 1 in March. So, they can't really grasp what's going on right now. I don't think that they'll, fully understand it until something like this happens in their, lifetime when they're older and able to understand what's going on. They can't grasp it right now. And they didn't start school. A lot of people put their children into preschool or some sort of care or whatever, but we don't. I've been fortunate enough to spend so much quality time with my children in their early stages of their life, and they don't know anything different at this point. So the zoo and the dog park is one thing, but like we're still walking around the neighborhood taking walks, and we go in the pool almost every day, and there's nothing really different in their lives right now.
Well, that's good. Now, do you? What did you just? Right, that was I had it. I lost it. Your studio in your home?
No, my studio is about 30 minutes away from my house. It's very close to Wynwood. So I live in the suburbs, and I'm about 30 minutes away from my studio. And I do want to purchase a warehouse, a unit, or a whole warehouse, or even a piece of land or something closer to my house, very close to my house, because in the long run, I want to be able to have my main production space and creating space close to home, because driving for 30 minutes to get to where I create, it's difficult. You lose track a lot of times, and I need to have it close by. So I'll probably always have a gallery or a shop a space where I can meet with people in the city, but I need to have something closer to my house, But I do. My house is definitely a studio. I work on my stickers and all sorts of smaller pieces in my home, and some medium-sized pieces I work at my house. I mean, I'm always I live it. It's not something that like turns on and turns off with me. It's constant. I live and breathe my passion. So it doesn't stop whether I'm at my house or at my studio or I'm out and about. It's always time for me to paint, or create. So I don't have my spray at the house because we don't want the children being exposed to the toxins that come with the aerosol. But yeah, there's definitely a makeshift studio in my dining room. It's crazy. My poor wife, it's like half of the dining room is just like clutter of I just I save everything from stickers to flyers and business cards, found objects, and you name it. It's like pushed into this little corner of my dining room.
Is your wife's favorite color orange by now?
I don't think so. No, I don't know. It's weird. I know that she always wanted to live in a yellow house, so I don't know if yellow. I know yellow has to be one of her favorite colors, but I don't, to be honest, know her favorite color. It might be like violet. We named our daughter Violet, so it might be purple. Yeah, my favorite color was blue growing up. I always liked blue, but then with the orange madness consuming my life, now everything is orange. I mean, and if it's orange, I'm just naturally attracted to it. And the colors of Miami are orange and green, so it's been an underlying thing, it's like a hometown pride color, but now it's definitely my favorite color. I mean,
New York City colors, orange and blue.
Yeah.
What do you listen to while you're working?
I don't know. I'm not really big with the headphones. I don't have like a good stereo system, so I can't say that I listen to music mostly while I'm driving. But on my phone, I have a mix of music. I have reggae, I have salsa, I have rap, I have jazz, and that's about it for my phone. I don't really have, and that's where all my music is. It's on my phone these days. I don't have much on my computer at all. I barely even use my computer. But yeah, it's a mix of those. It's of those genres that I just told you.
Now, how do you guys? How's the food situation where you are? Are you still picking up from the supermarkets? A lot of cooking at home.
Yeah, my wife works at a supermarket, so we're able to have a steady flow of food. There's no shortage over here, and we're still ordering takeout, and we pick up from restaurants and stuff. These establishments got to survive, so you can't dine in, but they're definitely still accepting all the work they can get cooking food, trying to stay afloat.
I think a lot of people are this is the longest that they've ever stayed in their house intentionally or unintentionally. So
Right.
everyone's trying to figure out what to do with all this extra time or how to not go crazy. Do you have any tips for younger artists out there trying to maintain focus while they're the monotony is setting in?
I can't really. It's weird, in Miami, it's spaced out. We have our space and we have our comfortable settings, and at least where I'm at, we're not all on top of each other. So I can't really relate to someone who's in a studio apartment or an apartment and can't even like leave their house. Or I would say exercise, definitely exercising is important. And then as far as like what you can do, I don't know, dude. I mean, I guess just stay productive, right? You know, don't be on the phone too much. Don't be on your tablet or your laptop, or don't be glued to the television or listening to the radio. Oh, the radio is not bad if it's like music, but you know, if you're like glued to something, then your mind is just gonna like fuzz out. But I can't. I would say, yeah, just do a mix of exercising, just, you know, create as much as possible, maybe set some goals, you know, whether it's like, you know, a certain amount of pieces or sketches or paintings or whatever it is that you want to achieve within a certain time frame. um Definitely like staying healthy and eating good, and not not getting wrapped up in the drugs and the alcohol, because that will definitely put you in a mega spiral. Um, yeah, I think that's about it. You know, and of course, get out of the house. You know, if you're able to get out of the house and go to the rooftop or chill on the balcony or walk around your block, definitely get out of the house. Just because you're not working doesn't mean you're not able to, you know, go out and, you know, put on a mask and just maintain social distance and get some fresh air. It's actually, you know, a good time right now because there's not as much traffic. All the automobiles for the most part are parked, and the pollution isn't as uh, prominent as it usually is.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that the way the world is responding to less humans being out there. I think it's very arrogant that just on our daily lives we're ripping this planet apart. But you know, brother, thank you very much for your time today. That was a very fast half hour.
Yeah, I was gonna check my phone and see where I was at on battery, but you just wrapped it up. I appreciate you, Ronnie, and hopefully we cross paths soon. And definitely, you know, greetings from Miami, Florida.
Well, Sold wishes you well, and thank you very much. And take care of those kids. Take care of the work. Keep working, and be nice to your wife. You know, just because. And before I let you go, please let everybody know where they can find you online.
You could find me at atomatomic.com. That's you know, my store is on there, my contact is on there. I'm not really good with emails. The best way to contact me is through Instagram at Atomiko, and that's with a K, Atomiko, and hit me up. Let's chat.
Great chatting with you. Drive safe. See you
All
soon.
right, take it easy, Ronnie.
Sold Out with Atomiko.